What is up, you fucks? We are back with another Lord Both the Stream, and we are doing our weekly Doom Scrollcast. It is time for Doom Scrollcast. Yes, we are back. If you're not familiar with the show, what we do here is we go through some subjects, some topics, discuss them, and then we do the Doom Scroll. We just scroll Twitter and we react to what we see. Luckily enough, don't usually click on a whole bunch of dirty stuff, so that's not really what my feed is clouded with, alright? It's mostly just gaming news, mostly just entertainment news, some politics. We're going to talk about that because that's what we talk about in the show. It's mostly entertainment topics, gaming topics, and politics. This is the one time you can hear me get into politics, alright? Try to keep the videos free of politics, for the most part. But, hope you guys are having a good night. I've had a fairly good day. Last day of my work week, technically in IRL work. And now I'm off for the next couple of days. And, just firing up the stream as usual. Schedule is still the same. Still this stream on Mondays and still the gaming streams on Thursdays. We have some interesting topics today. We're going to be talking about Elder Scrolls 6. It is, get this. This just in. Breaking news. Breaking news, my brothers. Elder Scrolls 6 is a fucking train wreck. I know. Who could have thought? Who could have thought that Elder Scrolls 6 was going to be a fucking train wreck? That news would eventually leak about a game that's been in development for like a fucking decade now. Decade plus. That Elder Scrolls 6 isn't doing that well in development. Shocking. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about Star Trek. That's right, we're going to talk about a dead franchise. Because if you didn't know, and a lot of you probably don't know because you don't follow Star Trek anymore, because Star Trek stopped being insanely popular in the 90s and fell off a fucking cliff in popularity after the early 2000s. Nobody, even before the woke freaks got their hands on Star Trek, the franchise was in a fairly hard decline. It got a little bit of a resurgence with the J.J. Abrams movies. I think it was J.J. Abrams that did that. I always get him and the other fuck confused, and I don't even remember his name right now. But I think it was Abrams. They got a little bit of resurgence. They got a little bit of a resurgence when they did the Chris Pine movies. Okay, that's just what I'm going to call them. But since then, people have checked out. And they moved on. And the woke freaks have taken it over. And at this point, it's somewhere between Doctor Who, which is laughably dead, and Star Wars, which is just mostly dead, okay? At this point, the only thing that could save Star Wars is going away for a good long while till everybody forgets the Kathleen Kennedy managed years, okay? Which, by the way, I don't think we have a stream since that's happened. Kathleen Kennedy decided to retire. So, send off for her. See ya. We won't miss you. The only problem is Dave Filoni is now in charge. So if you thought that things are going to get better, well, Yeah. They're not going to get better anytime soon. Okay? Filoni. First of all, somebody's got to go and rescue Dave Filoni's dog. I don't know what that fucker, what his deal with his dog is, but it ain't natural. It ain't good. It's worrisome, okay? So, and his wife is like a Wiccan or whatever. Like, those little crafty shops that, let me put it to you this way. There was a shop once in my local city that I was thinking about going into. I was like, I'd never gone into that shop. And the last time I remember being a kid when I was, when I went into that storefront, it was like this really cool, like sort of fantasy like shop that had like certain like medieval gear and really cool looking chess sets and stuff like that. I remember it as a kid. So I decided to go back to that storefront as an adult. And I went in there, and you ever walk into a place and immediately you're not supposed to be there? You ever walk into a place and be like, oh shit, I am the exact opposite of the targeted audience for this place? Because that is how it felt. I walked in there, and it felt like everybody was looking at me, and I was like, yeah. It felt awkward because it was all just a bunch of Wiccan shit. It was tarot cards and fucking tapestries of fucking witches in the moonlight and shit. It's just a bunch of perfume and incense. It was not for me, all right? When I see Dave Filoni's wife, that is what I think of. Because apparently she's all Wiccan or whatever. So yeah. That's the guy and his wife that are in charge of Star Wars now. They also have a lady. He's supposed to be in charge of the creative side. This is also a guy, by the way, who was getting major just plot details wrong about Star Wars that was having to be corrected by fucking Sam Witwer, the guy from fucking Force Unleashed. Played the voice of Darth Maul and all. He had to be corrected by that guy. And he's going to be in creative charge now of Star Wars. And the lady that's going to be in charge of the business side, she is essentially the former like head of like the special effects of like Industrial Light and Magic for Lucasfilm back when that was a thing, right? But she's been made basically like co-CEO or whatever the fuck of Star Wars. She's been made the second in command. She's going to handle the paperwork essentially. Which maybe she's competent at her job. I don't really know a whole lot about her. So who knows? Maybe she's going to be the one that greenlights the projects and like gets to choose what works, what doesn't. The actual business person. Because that's sorely needed. But anyway, that turned into a Star Wars rant that wasn't expected. But what else do we have for the show today? Elder Scrolls 6, like I said, Star Trek. That's right, we were talking about Star Trek. Star Trek is a dead franchise. There's a new show that came out, Starfleet Academy. Nobody's fucking watching it. And the people that do hate that shit. It's pretty much well documented. So yeah. I put a video out already today about it, covering the details. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about Don Lemon, old Don Lemon, deciding that he was going to go into a church and protest in a church, apparently. Then, not only did he do that, he doubled down on it, basically saying that church attendees were white supremacists. All right. Well, we'll see if he has what his logic is in that claim. But first, let's get into some of the gaming stories here. Let's get into Elder Scrolls 6. Let's see here. Oh, we might also talk about this little thing that's going on with a CD Projekt mod for Cyberpunk 2077. Because it's fucking dumb. Let's see here. Here we go. Okay. I didn't mean to do that. All right. So, fucking shit, dude. There we go. Gotta be on the right screen. There we go. Full screen this shit. Okay. So, from Kami on X, former Elder Scrolls writer and lore master Kurt Coleman speaks on why he left Bethesda. Elder Scrolls 6 was supposed to be their next game after Fallout 4. That clearly didn't happen. Todd Howard had promised him the lead design role on The Elder Scrolls 6, only to find out 11 years later that they went with someone else. Imagine somebody tells you, hey, this future job, you're going to have it. And then, over a decade later, when that job finally comes around, they're like, we lied to you. It was straight bullshit. How do you feel in that moment? Just completely lied to, wool pull over your eyes. Probably just to get him to work on other projects. That's really what happened. It continues here. The vibe at Bethesda was very different after Skyrim's success. Coleman was co-lead on Skyrim. Well, yeah. I mean, Skyrim wasn't just a success. It was a cultural imprint in gaming. Like, there's certain games, right, that everyone has played. Like, everyone has played a Grand Theft Auto at some point. Probably GTA 5. If you're under the age of, like, I don't know, 50, you've probably played GTA 5. Everyone has played Skyrim. Skyrim is one of those games that it's been around for so long. It's been re-released so many times. It isn't super taxing on systems anymore. It's highly moddable, and the mod community is really what gets into keeping that game alive. By the way, that same great success based around mods and keeping games alive through mods and supporting the mods is also part of the problem of why Starfield was so bad. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, Skyrim culturally is one of the most important games and most well-known games in society, greater society. I mean, right up there with, maybe not everybody's played it, but WoW, okay? WoW is obviously altered the culture around video games with MMOs and all that. Like left a deep imprint. Skyrim is one of those games. So it's not just financial success. It is a legacy success. That, let's be honest, Todd Howard built a lot of his reputation on. It continues here, quote, of course, after Fallout 4, we didn't go to the Elder Scrolls 6. We made Fallout 76. And then, even then, we didn't make the Elder Scrolls 6. We made Starfield, which became this extremely long project compared to other ones. Yes. Okay. They made Fallout 76. Why did they make Fallout 76? An online game that originally, by the way, didn't have any NPCs. Didn't have anybody to talk to. You were just out there, screaming into the void, slaying mutants of all kinds. People thought it was boring. People thought it was lonely. That's not a way you want to play a Fallout experience, which is supposed to be kind of more high-octane action, at least modern Fallout games, especially after the establishment of Fallout 4, as compared to something like Skyrim, which is more methodical, I think, at least. Yeah, Fallout 76, an online game, exists only because at the time it was being developed, and it's still like this right now. Game development companies are just catching on to this right now, that people don't want this shit. They don't want these fucking kinds of games. They are burnt out on online multiplayer competitive games. So, yeah. Legacy Killer has it right here. Elder Scrolls 6 was supposed to be their next game after Fallout 4. You want to know what changed? ZeniMax and private equity arm pushed for live services. Thus, why we got Fallout 76, Wolfenstein Youngblood, and Redfall, which we all know what a fucking disaster Redfall was. All from Bethesda's iconic single-player studios. Exactly. Bethesda makes single-player games. Single-player RPG experiences. That is what they do. That is what they have done since Fallout 3, essentially. At least in the Fallout franchise. You got Morrowind and all that with the Elder Scrolls going back even further. But that is what they do at Bethesda. Having them do these sort of online games, it just doesn't make sense. Especially considering the fact that the engine they work on is from like 1998. Which is a whole other set of problems. But the idea of using that engine to build a modern online experience is just... it's asinine. It doesn't make any sense. Complete stupidity. And they say here, then after that we made Starfield, which, again, the reason why Starfield failed was not just because it was boring, as said, but the fact that it was boring but also lazy. It was boring because there was so much not put in the game and so much personality lacking in the game, and you could tell that they thought it was okay to not have that much personality in the game because there was a back of the mind mindset that was like, it's okay. Modders will add flair to it. Modders The modders will actually put in interesting things in this game. They'll fix everything. That's not a way you should run a game development studio. That's not how you develop games. You don't develop games halfway. Games are not. What's that pizza place? Papa Murphy's. Game development is not a Papa Murphy's, okay? Papa Murphy's, they make the pizza, right? And they keep it essentially raw. And then you come in, you buy the pizza, then you take it home and you bake it. That's the restaurant concept. Game development is not supposed to be like that. Game development they make the game most of the way with the bones and everything. Then you take it home, you bake it. You make it actually good. No, that's not how this works. You're supposed to actually make the game and make it fun. Also, a lot of what had to do with its failure is the fact that gamers aren't willing to accept anymore good quality voice acting paired with graphics that are provided by an engine from 1998. Because while it looks better, the engine and how the characters operate and function and how they just move and the nature of the way their face looks and operates, it's not as expressive as so many other games. So even good voice acting is wasted on there, and it makes the actual interaction with characters feel boring, even if the voice actor is putting in a good performance. And I think that's really what we had in terms of problems with Starfield and what made it so unappealing. And of course, the combat wasn't great, but it's Bethesda. Like, Bethesda isn't wildly known for their good combat, all right? That's why last week when we saw that post from the guy who was like, "Oh, the combat is so good in Starfield." No, it's not. It's a retarded opinion. Anyway, enough ranting about that. But yeah, they were working on that for a really long time too. Anyway, Coleman left Bethesda in 2023 after 20 plus years. He says the problems at Bethesda predate the Microsoft acquisition. As the years went on, design leads, including Todd Howard's role, became less hands-on and more bureaucratic. So he essentially left after 20 plus years because A, he was essentially lied to about the position he would have on the next version or the next installment of the game. And there was essentially cancer within the studio for a very long time. And the guys who were supposed to actually oversee the studio, supposed to actually have major input, they just wanted less and less actual involvement. Let's be real. They want to sit back and let the checks come in. That's what they want. They want to sit back and let the business take care of itself and make the money. Which, by the way, in any business, if your ownership does that, if your high up management does that, it's not going to end well. That is a quick way to kill a business. It says here, Coleman's vision of Elder Scrolls 6 was going to be like Empire Strikes Back. The Elven supremacists were the bad guys, and they would ultimately come out on top, setting up the Elder Scrolls 7. So he had a whole thing planned there, despite the fact that, Fallout lore is pretty fucked in terms of how everything fits together, but the Elder Scrolls lore, I think, is even worse. They don't even know what's going on half the time, most of these guys. So yeah, if you didn't catch any of this, the gist of it is Elder Scrolls is fucked. Kurt Coleman, who was one of the head guys on Skyrim, is gone, and he left because development of it was so fucked, because they prioritized things like Fallout 76, which was a bad fucking game and bad fucking project and shouldn't have been invested in with a studio that didn't make any sense to actually develop it. Even if you want to do a Fallout 76, a Fallout Online game, give it to a different studio if you're Microsoft. Like, I mean, you had fucking Obsidian make New Vegas, right? So why not just have another studio make 76? It would make better sense. And then of course they made Starfield. That's another reason why you wanted out. Starfield, like I said, half-baked game. And it just seems like it's not toxic, but it's just a bad brew of how to run a company over at Bethesda. And when Elder Scrolls 6 releases, I think it's not going to be great. I didn't bookmark the post, but there was a post saying that, like, according to insiders, like, feelings at Bethesda about Elder Scrolls 6 are like at an all-time low in terms of morale. So, yeah. Okay. Let's go to the next thing. Well, first, I'm going to take a sip of water. Thirsty work. Okay. Let's talk about something really gay. And surprisingly, it's not Don Lemon. It's Star Trek. Let's bring this up here. Let's do that. That. No, I don't give a fuck about your ad. Fuck off! Let's full screen it. Okay. So, the reviews are in, everybody, for Star Trek Starfleet Academy. If you didn't know, they made a new Star Trek show. It's fucking terrible. And everybody agrees it's terrible. Let's see here. Yeah, 87% certified fresh from the critics. Not surprising. It's just fucking look at it. I don't know if I'm able to bring up. Yeah, I'm not able to. I thought I could zoom in here, but if you can't see here, they're all laying in a circle here. Like, what about this says Star Trek? What about, look at it. They're all laying there like, look at this. Let's see if we can. I'm too zoomed in now. Look at that. What about that says Star Trek? Nothing. And if you watch the show, nothing about it is like Star Trek. Nothing about it makes sense. Nothing about it evokes like, oh, this feels like Star Trek. What this is they have taken the bones of Star Trek in terms of the universe that has been set up, the races, how certain ships look, how the certain uniforms are colored the way they are, and how just the basic words of the lore and series. And they've taken it and they've used it as just background to do this fucking teen drama, Harry Potter bullshit in space. Because that's what this is. It's literally Star Trek, Harry Potter. It's Star Trek, My Hero Academia. But using really only Star Trek in name only. And as you can see, the audience agrees. 43% rotten. And it will probably get worse as the episodes go on. Because I don't really see a way they can dig themselves out of this. Everybody kind of knew. I mean, yeah, one of the actresses in the show basically being like, I can't wait for people to come out and basically say that it's terrible, and like every like debate about how bad the show is and pan the show because that's the nature of being a fan, right? And she's right. And also people do that because it's a shitty show. Shitty concept of the franchise. But this is, part of Kurtzman Trek. Kurtzman, who basically runs Star Trek now. I mean, every idea he's had is bad. The only thing good that's come out during his tenure was Picard Season 3. And Picard Season 3 had pretty much nothing to do with him. Wasn't involved in any way. So it makes sense that was good. The very next project was also dog shit. Which was that movie they made that I can't even remember the name of. With fucking Michelle Yeoh. Michelle Yeoh. Millions of... By the way, can we have a conversation? Can we have a conversation that Michelle Yeoh, maybe, just maybe, little bit overrated? I'm just saying. A lot of the projects they brought her in recently, not great. But, yeah. Audiences that have watched this seem to hate it. I can't understand why they wouldn't love the show, though. I mean, like, look at you see the little cutesy picture here, and then you have all the representation. Fucking Tig Notaro is in this show, which you want guaranteed to get people to tune in. Tig Notaro. And then you have a bunch of body positivity motherfuckers. Like, there is a jarring amount of fat people in this show. Like, noticeable. And, hey, it shouldn't be that way. Because this is Starfleet. This is supposed to be the physically best of the best, right? Also, there's really no reason metabolically that they should be fat at this point. Because it's supposed to be like 1,300 years in the future. Tell me they haven't found a way to keep the excess pounds off, even without working out? 1,300 years in the future? I feel like they have. But hey, I mean, they also haven't found out how to do certain other things in the future, apparently. Let's see here. Having to flip back and forth now. I really need to set up hotkeys, but I'm too lazy. Alright. This. They haven't found out a way to solve this, apparently. From Quarter Black Garrett. Sign language interpreter 1,300 years in the future. After they replace Worf's spine, Geordi's eyes, and resurrected Picard from death. Star Trek inclusivity. And here you have, again, a big person, a thicker woman, doing sign language. Being a sign interpreter for deaf people. Deaf people, 1,300 years in the future. We have cochlear implants right now. that help cure some people's hearing loss. We have cochlear implants that help cure people's hearing loss, and we have, supposedly in this TV show, still need for signers 1,300 years in the future. It doesn't make any sense. We also have things like this. From this guy, Gavleaf. I was not expected to see the Charon of all races referenced in Starfleet Academy. Charon are these half black, half white race right here. And the reason why this doesn't make sense is because, and why this race hasn't appeared in other times in Star Trek, is because this race of aliens is supposed to be extinct. Because the only time they show up is in an episode of the original Star Trek series where one guy has black on one side, white on the other guy has white on the other side and black on the other side, and they're racist against each other and hate each other. And that's the only difference between them. And it was all just an allegory episode for like racism and racism destroying people. And they hated each other, and their species had fought a race war against each other until eventually, like, they had gone extinct. And the only two left were those two males. So how did they... How is she there? How does any of that work? Zero research done. They did zero research about this. Somebody just remember seeing it in the TV show and was like, "Hey, what if we did this?" It's such a surface level Anyway. So yeah. There's also like the captain who sits perched like a cat in her fucking captain's chair instead of just sitting normally. Also, she has reading glasses. Because why does she have reading glasses 1,300 years in the future? We're literally, like I just said, they fixed Geordi's eyes and he's blind. Like, what? Anyway, none of it makes sense. So I can't understand why this didn't work, why this wasn't popular. And interestingly enough, let's see here. Here we go. Here we go. So, interestingly enough, Starfleet Academy series premiere, season 1, episode 1. Kids these days. So, they put the first episode of Starfleet Academy, Paramount put the first episode in full for free on YouTube. They just put it up there. In almost 5 days, 171,000 views. $171,000 views in 4 days. Do you know how bad that is? For a massive company page like Paramount. What is Paramount Plus's page like? They don't even... Okay. See, that's the thing. I don't know how. Can't even get back. I gotta unfull screen. There we go. But 171,000 views in 4 days. 21,000 downvotes to 6.9K upvotes. So, massively ratioed. Nobody's tuning in to watch it. That means, and you have to imagine, there are people who are just clicking here and maybe being counted as a view just to see how low the views are, to check in for themselves, like me. And it was so bad. This is so bad. By the way, when they live streamed this at first, they tapped out at 1,300 viewers. 1,300 viewers live for Paramount Plus for a Star Trek show. Live stream. The first episode of a new show. And they tapped out at 1,300 viewers. Which, by the way, where is he here? Nerdrotic decided to have some fun. He put up a live stream that was just his action figure of Spock sitting in an empty chair. Title it, "Can this Spock action figure get more live viewers than the episode of Starfleet Academy?" 1,500 watching. Paramount's episode tapped out at 1,300. And within like 4 hours, within the first couple minutes, 1,500 watching. Yeah, he got them good. It says here, "My live stream with a Spock action figure in an empty chair beat Star Trek Starfleet Academy's 1,300 plus peak live viewers on YouTube in under 3 minutes." I absolutely hosed. By the way, if we just go here to let's just go to his last live stream here, right? Friday Night Tights live stream. Streamed 3 days ago. 172,000 views in one less day than that episode of Starfleet Academy. So a live stream that's dated, right? This is dated information. And most people watch the stream, these kinds of panel streams live. Maybe they catch the VOD later. He's got 1.24 million subs. I'm sure more people probably click on Paramount than that. He's got 172,000 views, 1,000 more views on this live stream with one less day being out than that episode of Starfleet Academy. Absolutely hosed. By the way, obviously, ratio is a lot better here as well. It just goes to show you, man. Star Trek is dead. The people, there are so few people tuning in, and of the people that are tuning in, they hated the show. 43% Rotten Tomatoes. That's not good. What does that tell you? That tells you that of the audience you have, that is greatly reduced from where it used to be, even they do not like this. You should listen to that. Are they going to? No. They're not. They're going to keep on churning out the same bullshit as usual. That said, with the viewership numbers and the money being what it is, I would not be surprised if this show has just this one season, maybe 2. At the absolute most 3. But that's only if there's like contract stuff involved. I don't know the nature of the contracts or how long this show is contracted out, if it's been renewed already before even being released, etc. I think this is a one and done unless there's any contract stuff that's involved. Okay. So, let's briefly talk about this as well. So, this guy's an absolute dumbass, by the way. But, from Sim Potato, CD Projekt Red has taken down the Cyberpunk 2077 VR mod via DMCA. This is due to the modder Luke Ross locking the mod behind a $10 subscription. CD Projekt Red reportedly asked Luke Ross to make the mod free. He refused and deleted it instead. Luke Ross generates $20,000 USD monthly from paid mods. Yeah, first off, that's fucked. You shouldn't be charging people for mods. If you want to charge people for pieces of video games that you make, go work for the studio. Or go develop your own video game. Mods should be free. Like, here's the thing. Mods are add-ons that are supposed to be passion projects. Projects of love. The stuff that you think is cool and you want and you can make, that you also think other people would think is cool. So you upload it so they can have access to it. It should not be a business model. And you should not be paying a $10 subscription to some dude who isn't sanctioned by the company to make this mod. And there's a difference between this and the creator content that like Bethesda does, where they are quite clearly contracting out content creation to modders that don't actually work for Bethesda to flush out and make games like Starfield better, even though it's not better still. There's a difference between that and this. This is literally trying to use a mod you make with a game that already exists to make you money. Because CD Projekt Red has done about 9/10 of the work here. You just added the mod. And so you're effectively using part of what CD Projekt made to make money. So no, you should not be able to do that. And I understand why CD Projekt Red took this down. I also give them a lot of kudos for simply just asking him, hey, just make the mod free. If you make the mod free, we don't care. Keep it up. But doing this shows that this isn't a passion of his. He doesn't care about the game. This is about the money. This is about the money. The fact that he deleted it afterwards tells you, it emphasizes it even more, that it's about the money. Because he doesn't care about the gamers enough to keep it around, even if it exists at a later date that he could put it out. He cares only about the money, and if he can't make the money on it, then it might as well not exist. And that's fucked. So anyway, yeah. Fuck that guy. And fuck anyone who charges for mods. And while we're at it, fuck Sim Potato. He's a retard. I'm glad he was able to. Glad we were able to get that story out of him, though. All right, it's time to do this. It's time to talk politics, everybody. So, if you haven't heard, there's been some shit popping off in Minnesota. There's been some shit popping off in Minnesota. Why Minnesotans, especially young to middle-aged white females who may or may not like men, why they have such a complex to want to defend and be a hero to Somali migrants and illegal immigrants is, I don't know, beyond me. I don't understand why, but they seem to really, really want to. And there are plenty of dudes out there, by the way, white knighting as well, doing this shit as well. But there's been some protests that have gotten different levels of heated. And, of course, we all know what happened with the why did this pop up? That was weird. Of course, we all know what happened with the shooting incident with the lady who tried to run down the ICE agent, etc., etc. And everything's really heated right now. The mayor, Jacob Fry, and Tim Walz are doing absolutely nothing to try to quell the unrest. They're basically going around being like, go around and basically watch and observe ICE and basically record ICE, which is a stupid fucking thing to do, a stupid fucking thing to say. And Jacob Fry, literally everything Jacob Fry does is performative to try to garnish affection and love from the people in his city. The man literally did a walk of shame. Like you want to look up cuck in the dictionary. There's a picture of this dude's fucking face with it because he is so fucking cucked by his city. But over the course of these protests, Don Lemon has decided that he wants to get a piece of it and to, further grasp at the straws of his relevancy after being shit-canned by the mainstream media because A, he's not popular, B, he's not overall that interesting, and C, he can't keep his hands off of dudes, apparently. He decided to go to Minnesota, and he, with a group of protesters, decided to go into a church and protest and disrupt service of the church. Which, in my opinion, is abusing your right of assembly to disrupt somebody's right to their expression of freedom of religion. In which case, you have now made it an unlawful assembly. Because now your lawful assembly is now impeding on somebody's right to be able to practice their faith within the bounds of their own actual place of worship. When asked later, he had a terrible response to this, by the way, when interviewed. But when asked later on an interview about it and about the people he was protesting against, the church and all that, this is his response. And I don't know. Let's make sure I got the. Let's see here. Yeah, here we go. All right. Hopefully you can hear this.
And there's a certain degree of entitlement. I think people who are, in religious groups like that, it's not the type of Christianity that I practice, but I think that they're entitled, and that entitlement comes from a supremacy, a white supremacy. And they think that this country...
He thinks the people in the church are entitled white supremacists. That is his official response. How is it a good look for you and your group of protesters to march into a place of worship, take over the place, protest and disrupt a service, and then now go on to a podcast? This woman, by the way, insane, crazy fucking liberal, by the way. How does it make sense to go on that podcast then and say that the people who are just having service are entitled white supremacists? It doesn't. That's all I can really come up with.
It was built for them that it is a Christian country when actually we left England because we wanted religious freedom. It's religious freedom, but only if you're a Christian and only if you're a white male, pretty much.
It's unequivocally false. So the United States was founded on Enlightenment principles. And the Enlightenment principles are derived from Judeo-Christian teachings. That is just at its core. I mean, the freedom of religion is part of the Enlightenment because they wanted to escape religious persecution. I mean, the first people who settled the United States were the Pilgrims, escaping religious persecution because their religion was seen as a little different, a little kooky, as compared to Church of England, other Protestant faiths, Catholicism, obviously. So they wanted to escape religious persecution. They came over here. It is ingrained from the start, the start of colonization of the Americas, religious freedom. There is nothing wrong with practicing your religious freedom and you're practicing your faith, no matter what faith, as long as it is done peacefully, non-violently, and does not cause a greater harm to the greater populace in some way. Whether that's physically or whether that's disturbing the peace by causing a lot of racket, etc. Just as there is no problem with practicing your right to assembly, right to protest the government, etc. But when you use part of your First Amendment in the freedom of assembly to then disrupt somebody else's freedom to practice their religion, you go into that place of worship and you physically insert yourself into what they're doing and disrupt it, you are now impeding on the liberties, on the guaranteed liberties of those people by abusing the liberty that you have. And that's why it's unlawful. Or at least should be considered unlawful.
And so, yeah, I absolutely 100%, but it's an intimidation tactic. And, I said, I don't understand how I've become the face of it when I was a journalist. I do understand that I'm the biggest name there. And I'm also, as I was on with my producers this morning.
He loves that. He fucking loves the idea that He's the biggest name there. It's like, dude, you're a washed up ex talking head on a fucking mainstream media channel that nobody watches anymore.
You know, you and Kylie talk all the time. My producers were saying, I said, how did I become the face of this? And my producer said, Don, you're a gay black man in America. And there's a certain degree of entitlement.
So, listen, I'm so tired, dude. I'm so tired of the victimization of people. The just by my very nature and existence, I'm a victim. This country has the most liberty of any other country in the world. The most freedom to move up in social status, no matter what your background or what you believe or where you come from, who you want to fuck, what your race is. It doesn't matter. It's supposed to be a meritocracy. It's supposed to be you work hard, you earn it. Don Lemon is getting thousands upon thousands of views. And he worked hard at being an absolute dickhead and inserting himself into situations that he didn't need to be in to get those views. Meritocracy. And good on him. The problem is, he's being successful, but the very nature of his success negates the fact that his nature of who he is holds him back. You see the paradox here, right? I can't be successful because of who and what I am, but also I'm successful because of who and what I am. So what the fuck? I don't know, man. I'm just left asking. I'm honestly, this whole situation, I'm just left asking the question. So yeah, I'm afraid that we're gonna get more of this. We're gonna get more has-been ultra-liberal journos trying to insert themselves into situations and probably firing people up when they shouldn't be because they want the chaos, because the chaos equals the clicks, and they need the clicks to stay relevant. And you don't hate these journals. You don't hate the media enough, is all I know. All right. With all that said, it's time to get into the doom scroll. So we're going to go back to home. Skadoosh. So, okay, what do we got here? Billie Eilish shows how to refill her Your Term perfume bottles.
Just twist this off. Set it aside. Here is our refill bottle.
Anyway, It's a Gundam says, anti-capitalist selling shit again. Nosebleed sets for her concerts start at $350. $350? But she's a communist that, she hates capitalism. Anyway. Hold on just a second. Fuck. I have to sneeze, but it's one of those things where, like, it's not coming out. I don't know. I'll probably end up blasting into the mic in just a minute. Not that kind of blasting. Nobody clipped that. Anyway. So, yeah. Oh, but I will say, though, Billie Eilish. Definitely would. No, they aren't. Is anyone else sick of all these fake news spouted by the far right in an attempt to demonize Muslims? Muslims across social media are calling for a ban of people eating in public during Ramadan daylight hours. Who? They argue that seeing people eating food increases their temptation. Or increases their temptation. Well, I mean, just because you're a alcoholic doesn't mean that we got to shut down all the bars. Sorry. People still get to drink. Deal with it yourself. But, I mean, also, I think he's right. I think this is just kind of rage bait. Core Black Garrett said Islam is a demon religion. That's Quarter Black Garrett saying that. I don't think that's true. My feelings on Islam is that it's not my belief. I've known people that believe in Islam. I know people that are Muslim. Met people that are Muslim. And most of them are pretty decent people. Fairly conservative people. And I think just that Islam has a very bad light put on it because a lot of people that have been highlighted in believing in Islam haven't done great research or have great understanding of their religion. Which, surprise, a lot of people are like that. You know why Christianity gets demonized a lot nowadays? Because we focus on fucking Westboro Baptist Church. Places like that. Absolutely terrible places. Bella Danger is trending right now. I want to know why Bella Danger is trending. I think it has to do with Miami. But I have to full screen to check that because that is a Oh, by the way, if you don't know who Bella Danger is, she got that talent. That's all I'll say. Guys across the country watching the game with their wives and having to pretend they have no idea who Bella Danger was when they showed her on TV and their wife asked, "Who's that? Who's that?" Yeah. Let's see here. ESPN not slick for putting a Bella Danger on screen. I'll do whatever my team needs. Shots from the front, from the back, whatever. Fernando Mendoza, Bella Danger. I have to be careful. The cameraman showing a Bella Danger over and over again, and my wife goes, "Who even is that?" I don't know who the bigger sicko is. The cameraman for pointing the camera at Bella Danger, or the TV truck for deciding to air the shot. No shot. ESPN just showed us. Carabad Patty. Thank you, Abella Danger. I just put 200 times CSP. Let's see here. ESPN. Oh, God. Oh, that's good. I love it. I'm probably going to get flooded with porn bots now because of that. Knight's Path. Introducing Amelia. One of the female characters you can. I've been really interested in this, by the way. If you haven't checked it out, Knight's Path looks really good, dude. Knight's Path is an indie action RPG, story-driven, low fantasy, small open world game. Yeah, it looks really good, man. Like, look at that anime. Like, look at it, man. That's really good. And these guys are like indie. We will not include a modern dialogues like this. Fuck that up. He's not good at modern dialogue, apparently. We will not include modern dialogues like this in the game, but this particular one I always found super funny. Okay, but if you had to guess roughly when do you think you'll be home from the war? Okay. Alright. Yeah. I mean, look at this, man. It's fucking cool. I'm trying to see if there's a video here. I guess I could go up and click. Oh, here we go. It looks fucking good. This looks fucking good, guys. Anyway, look at that animation, man. But anyway, look out for that one because that's going to be a great little indie game when it comes out. Okay, let's see here. Oh, God. Fucking Crystal Ball has to be one of the biggest retards that has thrown away all fucking credibility she's ever had, ever. 2025 was the deadliest year in 2 decades for immigrant detainees. 2026 is on track to be far deadlier. A third of immigrant detainees at facility in El Paso has died, ICE says. Okay, but of what and why? Like, a third of undocumented detainees sprawling at 10 Texas immigration enforcement to 44 days. Campless, largest country, blah, 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 blah. ICE identified a detainee, Victor Manuel Diaz, 36, from Nicaragua, who first... Okay, get to the fucking... They never get to the fucking point in the articles. In a new release, ICE observed luminous distress, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's just... A third of undocumented... Okay, they just... There's no real details other than that. The facility is a soft-sided, tent-style structure with ICE increasingly favors over brick and mortar buildings as it ramps up immigration enforcement. Okay, but it doesn't really give any details here about like what they died of. I said that this guy's cause of death was medical staff attributed to natural liver and kidney failure. So, okay. So he just died. Became disruptive while in line for medication, refused to return to his assigned door. Medical staff responded, initiated saving lives measures because... Okay, so like they did their job. I mean, it sounds like this guy that they use as an example here just died. You ever think that people just die? Like, you ever think about that? You ever think that people just die? Shocking, I know. Close that out. Okay. Are you counting the detainees that were shot by psychotic leftists? You know, okay. 3 deaths in 4 months at El Paso. Trump's policy swap 142 million from healthcare deportations. Mortality like 22-year-old. Well, okay. It's basically Crystal every day on Breaking Points. I stopped watching when Sagar stopped pushing back on her idiocy. Yeah, here's the thing. That's the thing, man. That's the big thing. Liberal white woman in Minneapolis cries hysterically as ICE conducts a search for 2-child you-know-what in her neighborhood. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm going to full screen here for a second. Crystal Ball, like, if you don't know who Crystal Ball is, this woman, she was at The Rising. She used to work for MSNBC as an anchor. Absolute dipshit there. Was fired or quit. I don't really know. I don't really remember. Went to go work for The Hill and was on The Rising show with Sagar and GD. Sagar and Crystal, they really began to rise in popularity after Joe Rogan came out and said that they were the people that he listened to, where he went and got his news, watched his news talk, right? Was Crystal and Sagar on Rising. And he said, oh, well, she's a little bit more towards the left. He's more towards the right. They have, intellectual discussions, blah, blah, blah. It's pretty good. We get balanced news, blah, blah. He's had them on a few times. He had them on, especially when they decided to leave The Rising and strike out on their own, make their own podcast, which is Breaking Points. And I used to listen to Breaking Points for a while, but as Breaking Points was also forming, Crystal Ball was also doing her second show or whatever podcast that she does with fucking Kyle Kulinski. And Kyle Kulinski is the most massively retarded, annoying communist out there. Like this is the guy who tried to call Michael Knowles a cuck in their debate on Piers Morgan's show a little bit before the guy who came out looking like the guy with the frosted hair that looks like he's fucking Justin Timberlake as in Lonely Island. Like he was doing he did a podcast. He was doing a podcast with Crystal Ball, which is funny because back when Crystal Ball was on MSNBC, she got tricked by a caller or whatever, and he played it on his podcast that he was running back then, and he laughed at her and basically called her stupid. He didn't basically, he outright called her stupid, which is funny because when they started doing the show, it was quite obvious they started shacking up, despite the fact that she was married. She ultimately ended up leaving her husband, father of her children, and ended up getting together with Kyle, and now they're married. So, fun little family there. He's literally a homewrecker. The dude is literally a homewrecker. And yeah, ever since she also started like fucking him, like her takes have just gotten more insane leftist and communistic, and now she's just a full blown like Trump derangement system Trump derangement syndrome leftist like retard. And like she's almost as bad as him. Almost. She's not as annoying with how cringe, like, and not as cringe, but she spouts the same opinions, and she is absolutely she has Palestine conflict brain. She cannot shut the fuck up about Israel and Palestine either. So yeah, and as she's become more leftist, Sagar has also stopped caring about really like pushing back on her points on their show, to the point where I think their show is not doing great. Like I go to their show occasionally, and they still get thousands upon thousands of views, which is fine. That's great. Good for them. Anytime you can be successful in business, good, it's fine. But I feel like it's definitely taken a downturn in the numbers since she started going super leftist. And a lot of people, I go into these comments, and a lot of people are always replying that they've stopped watching Breaking Points because she's become such a raging fucking leftist. All right. That's my rant on Crystal Ball. All right. Who the fuck cuts pizza like this? Holy shit, that's loud. Oh, it's square cut. Okay. Oh my. Bro. None of us are focused on the pizza. Let's just put that to rest. Italian cake is some of the best cake. That's all I'll say. What is he? I don't know if I'll get hit with that. Banana Man. It's fucking, oh no, it's Alex. What is he celebrating? OpenAI is rapidly losing money and is projected to lose $14 billion in 2026 alone. If they can't get another round of funding, OpenAI could run out of money as soon as 2027. Hey, I mean, my guess is that they're going to get another round of investment. Unfortunately. Because it's time some of these AI companies start falling. What's going to happen to AI is the same thing that happened to streaming. You have all these streaming services, and eventually there's going to be a big 2 or big 3 that emerge. I think they're starting to form out there. I think ChatGPT is one of them. Google's Gemini also. Microsoft with their Copilot might do something, but Grok, I think there's no way that Elon Musk is letting Grok go anytime soon. So you're going to hear a lot of MAGA suddenly deeply worried about gun control. Black Panthers are training to protect their community from ICE. I mean, that's the thing. Like, as long as they're responsible and they don't shoot law enforcement or shoot other people unnecessarily without just legal cause, like, gun ownership is fine. It's fine. Trending New England Patriots Wags made a TikTok video of all their outfits from the field before the game. Okay. Cool. Let's see here. I knew that 911 show was terrible. Why is Tuggs a little late to the game on this one? I don't think I can play the song. But yeah. You're ordinary. It's so bad, dude. It was so bad. Fucking, what happened to fucking Jennifer Love Hewitt, dude? What I like about this show, though, is this show is literally just like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do a meteor shower. Let's do something. Hey, man, nobody's done it. Nobody's tried it. So we might as well do something new. At least they get people talking about it. Don Lemon's response to after protesters stormed a church in Minnesota. It's called journalism. Oh, another response by
the administration and the fake news magas are losing their mind over something that's not even true. So let me just make it clear, because this assistant attorney general, I don't know, gosh, what's her name? Something Hammett, Dillon or whatever. So I had no affiliation to that organization. I didn't even know they were going to this church until we followed them there. We were there chronicling protests. Once the protest started in the church, we did an act of journalism, which was report on it and talk to the people who were involved, which included.
That's a fine scapegoat for him to. I mean, obviously he supports the action. Obviously he was there, whether he was reporting on the action or not, and he's going to use his victim status that isn't actually real to garnish clicks no matter what. There's a Tomb Raider cosplay. Well, you're absolutely covered in tattoos, so you already fail. Awkward moment. Virgin Nick Fuentes is asked if he wants to party with girls at that phrase night out. And he said, yeah, he was like, no. Nick Fuentes is gay, dude. Like, can we just accept that? There. Oh, Alex is M. Bison. That was a good one. Let's see here. Let's refresh. Okay. William Shatner, did you miss me? I didn't even know you were gone, Will. Old Billy boy. Anytime William Shatner, some people, they get mad at some of the things that he posted. I think his wife actually does his posting for him, by the way. But they get mad for things he's posted or like things he said, opinions he's had. And anytime somebody does that, I'm just like, this is a good time to remind you. Bill is in his 90s. So once you hit about 80, 85, I stop caring about your opinion. I'm sorry, I just do. I stop caring about your opinion because I don't even know if you know where you are at this point. I can't think of a game franchise as genuinely overrated as The Last of Us. True. The Last of I never got into. I'm not really big into zombie stuff. Zombie stuff in general, just there's one problem that the zombie stuff never solves for, and that's the nuclear problem. Because when there is a... Sorry, this MGM fucking ad is fucking with me. Anyway. So, when there is a zombie level event, and the vast majority of society is turned into zombies, what happens to the nuclear power plants? You ever think about that? Did you ever think about that? Because when there's an apocalyptic event, you need people to monitor and maintain those nuclear power plants. Without people, those plants will eventually melt down. Whether that's in a year, 2 years, 7 years, but eventually they will all start to degrade and melt down. And when that happens and they all melt down, you have Chernobyl incident after Chernobyl incident. The whole world is basically going to be flooded with radiation, and then everything dies. So realistically, if there is a zombie apocalypse, like we're all dead, it's a matter of how long it's going to take you to die. Because we're not getting the nuclear power plants maintained forever. So yeah. I've never gotten into zombie franchises because none of them have ever solved for that problem. Let's see here. Former veteran Bethesda developer has said that the studio may end up with hateful comments even if Elder Scrolls 6 ends up just being as good as Skyrim. I mean, yeah, it's probably the same guy that we were looking at earlier. And that's because time has passed. People expect more. I dare you to mention a 10 to 10 non-alcoholic drink. Coca-Cola. Not that hard. I hope they keep her as the playable Fable character. How about no? How about no? I don't want to play as some freckle-faced, racially ambiguous girl in Fable. I'm sorry. I want my own creative character because that's what Fable is based around. That's the legacy of Fable. If you don't know Fable, by the way, if you haven't played Fable 1 through 3, go play them. They're amazing. Even 3, yes. The writing in Fable 3 is better than a lot of writing in video games today, still. And it's better than the majority of, I would say, television products and fantasy television products and movie products put out today. Epic Mike, hey, go up and sign for Criticless. Yeah, if you guys aren't, by the way, if you're interested in Criticless, Criticless is a good alternative to Rotten Tomatoes. There needs to be more people on there. Would really, really like to see them add video games as well, but it's going to be a long time before they're let's do some crusading, some jihading live. Oh, let's rock. Hack rock. How do... Actually, we won't do that. I was gonna ask how do you dislike a pose? We'll just say thanks for the link. Now, fucking hell. Now I can go dislike all your reviews. There. Mike is a great guy. We love to have fun with Mike. Fuck with him. Definitely check out his gaming streams. He is a lot better streamer than me. Unfortunately, he has made himself into a horror game streamer. I don't think he ever intended that to happen, but it's funny and it makes him a lot of money, so he's gonna keep doing it. And they're good streams, really good streams. You can never make me hate Nicki. Nicki Minaj is wild. Nicki Minaj is fucking trolling Don Lemon. I like how Nicki Minaj has become a conservative speaker now, a conservative celebrity. Nobody would have fucking thought that when I was in fucking high school and she was at just rising in her popularity. Power World second anniversary. Yeah, shout out to Power World, man. They're not backing down from Nintendo. It's a good thing. ESPN sources, Titans are working to finalize a deal to hire 49ers defensive coordinator Robert Saleh as their... Why? Why would you do that? Saleh spent Monday in Tennessee with the Titans, and the two sides impressed each other enough to move forward. So, Robert Saleh is already a failed head coach at the New York Jets. I get it. It's the Jets. They fail with everybody. Look at Sam Darnold. But also, I mean, they just got, like, the 49ers just got blown out by Seattle. With the quarterback that Robert Saleh had in part of his tenure at the Jets. Like, I don't understand this move. Like, I get it. He's charming. He's inspiring. He's a leader of men and all that. He's a tough guy. But, like, on paper, the actual production doesn't make sense. Majority of millennial and Gen Z voters now reject both political parties per Gallup poll. Oh, what a surprise. Young people don't like politics, is what that pretty much tells me. Killer elephant who is at large has left a total of 22 people dead over a 10-day period in India. Well, they literally make a gun called an elephant gun. You know what to do. Oh, God. Fucking Tom Connors, man. Mazza is here. Mazza says, oi, oi. Oi, Maz, you're gay. But thank you for showing up in chat. So, Tom Connors, what does he have to say here? Tom is the most diva dude, by the way. This guy didn't like Sinners. I'm being canceled again, and this time it's even by people in my own circle. Shows you your worth when you don't earn on YouTube. Worse than high school. It's like the mob. Make no mistake, folks. Most of your favorite YouTubers are all about clicks above all else. Umbrella Guy. Damn, Tom, I forgot the Umbrella Guy exists. Professor, what happened, Tom? I might not be an important YouTuber, but I have your back. If I start talking, then a lot of people would start to worry. There's a lot of vague bullshit coming from him. Uh-oh, what? You can't vague post things like this, Tom. Exactly. We are with you. We are with you, mate. No cancellation. Stay strong. Yikes. Okay. Yeah, nothing. Yeah. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that Tom is a diva. And a lot of his takes aren't outside of... A lot of these guys, by the way, in both gaming media and in... a lot of these guys in both gaming, YouTube media, and in other entertainment, movies, television, comics, whatever. A lot of them, beyond woke bad, a lot of their takes are really shitty. Really, really shitty. And I think Tom is one of those guys where, yeah, he doesn't like woke shit. in his movies and television. But if you go actually look at some of his takes beyond that, is some of his actual artistic takes about movies, TV, etc. They're pretty shit. He also hates video games, but that's just boomer mentality or old Gen X mentality. I don't know how old he is. Jennifer Welch backs mob storming white evangelical churches, most entitled white national. Okay, yeah, we know, it's her right. That's a wild comment by Elon. Why is a hologram participating in physical training? A hologram, the one on the far right. What the hell muscles is she going to? Yeah, exactly. This is the shit, man. This is the shit that like people like. Oh, dude. This is the shit that doesn't make sense. Why people don't understand. I'm telling you, man. Beyond the like the woke shit, like it's a bad show. Like it's a poorly thought out piece of media. By the way, this white male character here purely exists to be a dick. Like I've seen some of his scenes, all of them, he's just an asshole. Don Lemon and Tim Waltz seeing each other in the prison shower line. It's pretty wild. Life is not real. Anime feet. What? RGT. Anime people. What? Hold on now. We're gonna scroll on past that. Point to the scripture prohibiting Mr. He Him. Does it show it? You cannot serve two masters. You cannot be a pastor and an ICE director. What? Huh? Oh, he's talking about. Let's see here. Wait, you're getting you're getting PS5 games as gifts now on Steam? Wait. I got gifted nothing. Let's go. Wait, you're getting PS5 games gifted on Steam. Oh. Cyberpunk Toys. Oh, that's the VR mod shit that we already read. Imagine recording yourself being a bad player and thinking the game is the problem. Alright. Didn't even give Arc Raiders 1 hour.
A small indie game, a try. It's called Arc Raiders. You may have heard of it. It's very dark in there. Hard to see enemy. Don't shoot. The fuck? Got his ass.
Okay. Well, you putting a target on yourself.
What the fuck?
Okay.
These people are bad at shooters, man. Okay, so how the hell do I get out of here? I don't trust myself to catch that ladder. Maybe the zip line? Ah, wait, hold on, let me cook. All right. We are good. What?
You didn't account for the physics there.
Are you serious?
This guy's just so solos and Arc Raiders. Listen, I've played a little bit of Arc Raiders. Solos being that aggressive is a very rare thing, and it doesn't happen that often. And he is not playing the game the way most solos do. He's playing very aggressively.
This game is so bad, man. Like, holy shit. Why is there 3D in an extraction shooter, man? Whatever, dude.
Wait, what did he say? What did he say?
Bad, man. Like, holy shit. Why is there 3D in an extraction shooter, man?
What is there? 3D and an extraction shooter? What the fuck do you...
Man, whatever, dude. Okay, there we go. Done. Yep, I tried it.
Just... Imagine recording yourself being a bad player and thinking the game is the problem. Yeah, I mean... He's playing really aggressive as compared to most people that play in solos, which is fine. If that's the way you want to play, that's the way you want to play. But when you don't fully know the controls and you're not used to it and you're just running around, when you're running and gunning, which is basically what he's doing, you're going to end up like that. It's Call of Duty brain rot, man. Like, not every game is Call of Duty. Stop playing games like they're Call of Duty, okay, man? If you want to play a game that's not Call of Duty, but it's like Call of Duty, go play Fortnite Blitz. It's basically, it's Epic's way of being like, how do we get the Call of Duty gamers to play Fortnite? Blitz mode. How is this not a penalty? Late hit in the QB. What the hell? I guess, I mean, it's college. Who knows how the officiating is in college? Need to watch the TED TV show. It's probably funnier than most things on. Mike Coulter reveals that he has had talks about returning as Luke Cage. I've had conversations and I'll leave it at that. Daredevil's back. Jessica is back. We're in a better position to see this come into fruition faster than we think. Yeah, but here's the thing. You're bringing back the Defender. Like, why are we bringing back the Defenders? We're about to nuke the whole, like, timeline and everybody in it. Like Doomsday and Secret Wars is like Doom kills the MCU. Like, by the way, I'm okay with that. Clear the slate a little bit. Wait a second, is this true? Bills fired head coach Sean McDermott per source. I guess it is true. Let's see here. All right. Statement. All this. Sean McDermott. Okay. POV, you're someone. I guess it is true. Sean McDermott got fired of the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to be honest with you. It makes sense because you're getting some sports talk here too. Sean McDermott, he had a very passionate speech after the game, the hard loss, right? This is another hard loss, and the Bills just can't get over the hump with him. And I got to be honest, the coaching staff, the players seem like they're capable. It feels like the coaching staff is what's holding them back. And Sean McDermott, like, he looks like a more depressed, like, Bill Burr. Like, if that's a thing, it can be a thing. Like, Sean McDermott, even in that moment, he should have been, when all that catch that was ruled an interception, he should have been fucking livid. He should have been near thrown out of the game because he was so mad and getting after the ref and all that. So show his fucking passion. He didn't do any of that. He just kind of stepped back and sulked, which is what he normally does. And not showing that passion, I think, was a mistake by him. Riley Gaines is making milk ads. I don't really care. Why does the quartering do this? I know what he'll say. The quartering, he always posts these things like, what's on your minds for videos tomorrow? It's like, bitch, the subject that you're making a video about, you're supposed to know. You make the videos. You know what happens when I don't have a subject to make a video on? I don't make videos. By the way, I typically always have a subject to make a video on. Some days I just don't make videos because I literally don't have time. But trust me, the quartering has time. I don't know, go look some shit up. Get some of the people that work for you to look shit up. But he'll try to defend this by saying, oh, well, I'm just asking because, I want to ask, so, I make videos on what my people want to hear me talk about, and, I care about my subscribers and all that, blah, blah, blah. Okay. That's a way out. That you don't actually do that because of that. There are better ways to take a barometer of your audience and what they want to see from your channel and videos that you make. The comment section being the main one. Then posting on X. What's on your minds for videos tomorrow? This is basically asking your audience on X to do your, thinking for you. Stupid. Which one is Craig again? Corporate needs you to find the difference between a pig and... Nobody likes my hair and now I'm a pig. Damn. I mean... That is an interesting haircut. Lakers star LeBron James in his 23rd season has announced with other players in an effort to confirm. He's also announcing the Lakers have agreed. So I guess it's supposed to be a joke. Didn't actually say anything. Anyway. Alright. What did Michelle Obama? Michelle Obama says she's mindful to try to avoid white-owned brands and others. And others also should be. Well, that's just...
If I hear of someone whose fashion that I like and I know that they're a person of color, I try to make it a point. But the clothes have to be available. I think we can all do something to think about that balance in our wardrobes. What does our closet look like and who's in it? Mm-hmm. Who are we supporting in it? Right.
That's such rich people problems, who is in our closet. Listen, I have never ever bought a piece of clothing and wondered who owns the brand, white people or black people. I have occasionally wondered what the Bangladeshi slave worker that made my shirt, what his life is like. But that's about it. In terms of actual brand ownership, I don't give a fuck.
And I think if you
this
have
is
money
rich
to
people
buy
problem.
Chanel, then you have the money to buy everybody.
Right.
And so let us be mindful, I think would be my advice.
Yeah.
If I hear
That's so. See, that's the thing. The accounts like End Wokeness, they post this kinds of stuff, but that's not necessarily what she said. So like, it's important you don't just take these posts as at face value. Actually, listen to the video or do your own research and all that. All right, I think that's probably where we're gonna call it. We're almost at 2 hours as well, and I got some actual video games I probably want to actually go play before bed tonight. And I gotta be up in the morning. I got stuff I gotta do, but yeah, this has been fun. It's been a good episode of Doom Scroll Cast. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. We'll be back Thursday with the gaming stream. Maybe a stream in between. That'll probably be gaming too. We'll see. I don't know. It's all kind of up in the air. More videos to come forthwith as well. Just put out a video today, a couple hours ago, kind of covering the stuff with Star Trek like I did here. If you're interested in that or have a friend or something that you want to give them my take or something on Star Trek, you don't want to share the whole live stream. Basically what I was talking about here on stream has been condensed into a video already and is out there for you. So, with that said, we're going to end here. I appreciate all you. If you like the live stream, if you're catching us on the VOD, go ahead and like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. Really appreciate it. And we will talk to you again later. Have a good night.